let's talk about your boy Odell Beckham.
Oh yeah, let's get into it.
And the comments that he made on the Giants and Eli Manning. Why don't you just go ahead and update this story for those that don't know exactly what he said, what was the gist of what he was saying?
You really kind of have to play it back to get a full understanding.
First of all, well, let me give some context.
Okay.
ESPN's Josina Anderson,
Yes.
interviewed
The great Josina Anderson.
interviewed Odell for their what's the name of that show?
The Sunday night countdown or something, whatever.
Sunday countdown.
Oh, and let me give you this other thing to paint the whole picture. Lil Wayne was there.
I saw that.
And he was sitting in the background, kind of like, you know how you sitting there with your boy,
Yeah.
and somebody's asking you about something, and you're trying to answer it like the best way you can to be politically correct, but then your boy is like laughing, and he's like that giggling in between. That's what was going on.
I have no understanding of. Oh my goodness!
I don't know why he was there. And then I thought Lil Wayne was half asleep. Did you see him? Did
he even say anything?
He laughed at the inappropriate time.
So Lil Wayne came in as basically the hype man.
It's the New York Giants, baby.
Lil Wayne is the hype man for
But he
Odell.
was the worst because when you're doing an interview and somebody's asking you a question and we already think it's kind of like borderline, like he's just saying the right things, and then you're snickling and laughing behind it. Like she was like, "So tell me about Eli. Is he your quarterback for the future?" And then Wayne's like, you know, like it just it's the worst.
Yo, go ahead, tell him. Tell him what you told me.
I could have been grinning like, not good.
That was horrible. Like,
Yeah.
why would you even do that?
I don't even know why Lil Wayne was there. He's the last person. Like, he didn't even answer any questions.
Right.
He must have just been hanging out.
Right.
He's like, yo, you want to do this
That's
interview
why I don't
with
mess
me?
with Odell, man. But we'll get to that.
Listen,
That's why I don't mess with
You're
Odell.
gonna leave Odell alone, man. I got Odell's back tonight. We gonna get to it. But anyway, so the long and the short of it was, they were asking him these questions that everybody wanted to know. Do you want to be in New York? He was kind of lukewarm with that. They asked him what he thought about Eli Manning. He was lukewarm with that. And then he divulged some information that everybody already knows anyway. Number one, he's like, I don't understand why we don't throw for longer passes down the field instead of these short patterns. You know, he talked about the team having heart and playing harder. And so essentially, by him not being all the way gung-ho, backing his quarterback up, backing his city up, people kind of ran with it because, you know, Odell right now, he kind of has a reputation of being a whiner, complainer. So they ran with it. They ran with it, trying to make it seem like he is a cancer to the team. Like, you know, the reporting, I think, was a little bit unfair on that. But that's how the whole thing was, you know, kind of set up. And so coming into the weekend, people didn't know what to expect. And in his defense, he showed up. You know, he threw a touchdown.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Threw for a touchdown, had 100-something yards, plenty of receptions.
So, all right. So you and I have a ongoing disagreement.
Yeah.
About this.
Yes.
Because I don't believe that they should have given him that contract. I don't believe you build a franchise around a player like this.
Okay.
I believe he's more of a problem than he is a benefit. And just as you point to the better play that the Giants had after the comments, I'm going to say Eli tried to force the ball to him, threw a pick, right? That was a ball that was, they both players had the opportunity to fight for the ball. It wasn't, a clear Eli busted read through the ball right to him. All right. So, but either way, when you're targeted in an interception and you get intercepted and the ball gets intercepted, the question between is it the receiver's fault or the quarterback's fault is always going to be a little vague. The offensive line might take some problems, some heat. The coach might say it was the play call. Fine. But an interception occurred. A drop on fourth down, that was very key. Right?
Yeah.
And the Giants lost this game.
They did.
Right. A drop on fourth down, that was key.
He also had a little muff punt or something.
But not a little muff punt. A punt that was recovered by the Panthers in the Giants' end zone, touchdown. They lost this game by a field goal.
true. That's a mistake. It happens.
That doesn't happen.
It does happen.
That doesn't happen.
But here's the thing.
He had so much. Here's my problem with him. The dude, it's the gift and the curse, right? His stature is not that of a typical elite NFL receiver. He is overachieving his body. Would you agree with that?
I don't agree with that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to continue with my point anyway.
Because, I mean, what does he need to be bigger? Or
for a number one, where is there a number one receiver that productive that, Steve Smith is going to be the one?
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. That's it.
No, there's other receivers. I have to think about it here. The prototypical receiver, they're not always huge anymore.
They're not, but they're 6'1".
Odell's not
200.
5'10".
Yeah. I believe he is. Can you look up his measurements?
I just kind of think that I think you're giving Odell a hard time.
I am giving him a hard time.
But because I get it. So there's this thought process amongst most people that, the way he moves, the way he says things, or how he does things is immature.
Yeah.
He's mercurial.
I don't even know what that means, but yeah.
Yeah, like mercury in the temperature when it gets hot and it's all over the place. Like, you don't know what it's going to do. It can be cold, it can be hot. So he has a mercurial personality. But all I'm saying is I think that what we're seeing with Odell, this is your new athlete. This is what's coming out. He says what's on his mind. He'll post anything online.
But what's on his mind is garbage. That's the problem.
Right. And I don't agree with some of the stuff, the way he delivers some of the things. He's got to learn how to do that. But I think when you unpeel the whole thing, like layer by layer, and you look at it, who are you going to get to produce like he can produce? Who are you going to get to want to sit in the stands, to watch your team play? He sells jerseys. He's got, as a matter of fact, I think about the biggest contract for tennis shoes of any NFL player, which is unheard of. So he has a following. He's going to bring money to your franchise, and he makes people want to watch your game. If he's not playing, I don't want to watch a Giants game. If Saquon Barkley's not there, I don't want to watch them either. So
I think that the gift and the curse is he's a ball of energy.
Okay.
And I believe that energy is the separator between he and other receivers.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but let's not forget this. It's not like the line is good and your quarterback is good and then he's not producing. Because then you can say, he's not up to par.
It's not that he doesn't produce. It's that the antics destroys the context of the team and it's a poisonous environment that causes quarterbacks to target you more than they should.
Well, they don't really have anybody else to throw the ball to. The team sucks. Like their line's not good. Eli's not getting the ball out. He's missing open receivers. He's not playing as well as he's played in the past. So it's the perfect storm to blame somebody. I'm not prepared to say that it's completely his fault.
Well, no, I'm not. Yeah. It's not his fault.
Okay.
Right? It's not his fault. It's the GM's fault.
Okay.
But when he still creates this environment around the team of, people choosing sides, I'm with Odell or I'm with Eli. It's just all of the antics, all of the things that distract away from our goal today is winning. And you can say all you want that you're trying to raise the level of the people around you, but that's not how you raise the level of the people around you, by calling out your quarterback.
Oh, I agree with that.
And I tell you, the one thing that's not going to be forgiven.
What?
You do not say that you're not 100% happy with playing in New York.
He cleaned it up.
No, no.
He did. At the end, he said, I can't see myself being anywhere else. And he said, this is where I want to be.
Why did he clean that up?
Because he thought about it. I think
Lil Wayne told him to clean it up. Is that what happened?
No, Lil Wayne was laughing. Lil Wayne was laughing.
I don't think you could do that one.
Lil Wayne was snickling it. He was snickling and laughing. But the thing is, Odell, he needs to go someplace and he needs to some public speaking courses, and he needs to learn what to say, what not to say. Keep it simple and stop. You can't be candid.
But okay,
Because if I asked
But don't put yourself out there like that.
Yeah, but if I asked you and you weren't thinking and you didn't know how to express yourself, I'm like, yo, would you rather live in Cali or New York? You'd probably be like, man, Cali is kind of nice. But you would never say that in an interview. You would say, I want to be here. I enjoy the weather here. I don't care if it gets cold. Like, you have to say things that makes people,
Right.
you know.
If you're an athlete in New York and you play for one of these teams and you start to understand what the fandom is here, and you start to understand that there's a hierarchy of athletes that have played in this city, and that you're chasing Babe Ruth and Mariano Rivera and Patrick Ewing and Bill Bradley, and you know what I mean? It's different. There's Lawrence Taylor, Phil Simms. That's the game that you're playing. And you don't say that. You just don't do that.
Listen, you give me $100 million, the sun it'll shine anywhere for me.
You know why? I'm gonna tell you why you give him a pass.
Why?
Because you're a fantasy player and you see those numbers pop off the page.
Nah.
But what about the W's?
It's not fantasy. Everybody likes. They want.
Do we have his contract situation? Can we put his contract up? That last one.
People want Boy Scouts, right? Mm-hmm. They want. Oh, I want somebody that's perfect. Yeah. You know, he knows how to say everything. He's friendly. You don't have to be shakes perfect. Everybody's hand. He holds babies. You know, but the fact of the matter is, the mercurial guys, like those types of personalities, always seem to be the most productive.
He's biting the hand that feeds him, just like he's biting Eli's hand. When you cross the New York fan base, you've crossed.
Eli's biting his own hand. He's biting his own hand.
The New York fan base won't turn their back on Eli.
You know what I think
to this day, and he's not good.
Let me tell you what Eli's problem is. Eli is battered. For the last 2-3 years, that line has been bad, and they come in there, they knock him over the head, they tackle him. He's afraid for his life. So when a guy is afraid to throw the ball or hold the ball long enough to throw a long pass pattern, that tells me that at this point he's got PTSD. Did you see the picture of him when they played Dallas? His eyes were like that. Yeah. He's shook. Yeah. So he's got to you got to get him something to make him a little bit more comfortable to get the ball out. But Odell's 25. Y'all,
let's look at his contract. This is the highest paid contract
for wide
receiver in history,
and rightfully so when you look at the stats.
Oh, really? But he's not better than.
I'm not impressed with the in history thing, because every year the salaries go up. So
that is true.
You can have Jerry Rice probably deserved to make $500 million, but
the point is, the context is in today. Where does he rank among wide receivers? Is he vital to your team to the point where you're paying him quarterback money?
Yeah, let's talk about your criteria for a player deserving a big contract. Like this, you got to look at everything, not just like the stats on the field. But what I have my criteria, but I don't know what yours. Okay.
The bigger contracts have to go to players that you can't replicate. Okay, so if there's not another guy that I can get at less dollars that could reasonably fill the shoes, that's the guy you pay big money to. If I can find another you, if I can find a 75% you, right, I would definitely consider not paying that money. In the case of Odell Beckham, you need someone that's going to draw attention. You need someone that you can target 10 to 15 times a game, and know he's going to come out of that with, 70% catch percentage.
Yeah.
A sure-handed guy that's going to draw attention.
Okay.
You can find that for less than $20 million, $10 million. So I would not put a significant portion of my salary space in that spot. I'm spending on elite defensive linemen, offensive linemen, and a special quarterback, because I think a lot of quarterbacks are way overvalued. I'll spend on a special guy. I can, if I don't have the special guy, I can take guy number 30 and he can replicate a top 15 quarterback reasonable. Mm-hmm. But, the top 2, 3, 4, 5, that's just different. So that's kind of how I would set up a corner. If I can get a true number one lockdown, you can't throw over here guy.
But those guys aren't falling from the sky.
No.
They're few and far between.
No. So that's how I would look at it. Corner, pass rusher, potentially interior lineman on the defensive side, one elite offensive lineman, quarterback. I would not spend money on wide receivers. They're everywhere. They're all over the place.
Any sport that I like watching, my team, the thing that I think about immediately when I'm thinking about I'm going to pay a guy, number one, of course, statistically, he's got to be up to par. I'm talking about he's got to be like a once-in-a-generation type player, somebody that's all about the city, been there for a while, whatever. And I can see him here being a staple of this town. That's the first thing. But the more important thing that jumps off the page to me, I want that guy that sells jerseys. You know what I mean? Little kids like, ooh, I want to be like him. Like that's what I want to see. I want the guy where you'll run to your TV and be like, yo, he's playing, and you turn the TV on. Right now, the other thing that kind of affects that is the chemistry of the team, where we're trying to go. Are we good enough to win a championship or whatever? But even if we go 1-15 or 1-16, at the end of the day, if I have a guy that will make people interested, then the salary that I pay him, I'll make that money back.
Yeah, but the Giants in the NFL, they already have all that on lock, though. They don't really need. They don't need it. They don't need
nobody's
that.
Trying to turn the TV on just to watch Eli come out there with nobody to throw the ball to.
So they want to turn on the TV to see if this dude is going to act a fool or not.
That's what happens. Until you can put a team together on the field that somebody wants to watch, you might just have to put up with that. But here's the thing. I feel like even though he's doing whatever he's doing right now, I think he can kind of iron this thing out, and hopefully he matures a little bit. It's going to take you a couple years to get back to probably where you really want to be anyway.
Yeah.
And then you can reevaluate. It's not like you can't get rid of him later. Somebody will take Odell. Odell's good.
I would try to trade him as soon as that money. I just don't believe you can have a guy like that on your team. I think he's so negative. He's so negative with all the antics that
with that
it brings
being
you
said,
down. You never know what he's going to do. He could score a touchdown and go nuts.
He hasn't done that.
He hasn't?
And affected your team like it just ruined your season. The team already sucks.
He's the type of dude that'll do a celebration and get hurt. Watch, because he just doesn't have no chill. No chill.
Man, you just not an Odell fan right now. But I have a feeling in the next couple years, you're going to be like, you know what, I was kind of surprised Odell showed me something. Because if you remember, this Odell, even though he made his comments, this year he has been different from when he was in the past. In the past, the throwing things on the sideline, kicking things, all of that stuff has stopped. He came into training camp. They asked him to come in. He didn't hold out. He still got his contract. He has actually made some strides. And the stuff, everybody said, oh, he's a cancer. Well, yeah, he's
so talking publicly about your team. What would you consider?
That's a lack of experience.
Okay,
you know what I mean. This is a big market. New York is not a market to play with and say stupid stuff. You can get away with that in like Kansas City or somewhere down Mississippi. Like you that stuff just falls off the front page. In New York, people don't forget.